Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And we got our COVID-19 vaccine part 3, and probably the last part to this.
Yay.
So, in the last one, which we recorded a while ago, and I just recently put up for non-patrons, you haven't gotten either shot. And now, what's your status?
I'm fully vaccinated.
Yay!
Yay, indeed. Yay, indeed.
Alright, so how did the first one go?
First one went fine. Just a mild pinch, a little black, tiny little pinprick hole in my arm, and a few days, not feeling so well. You could just feel like it's working through your system. It didn't really stop me that much. The first day, I just took it really easy. Then a month later, they had me come in for my second shot. They made me wait a month.
And?
Complete different ball game. I get the shot, just like the first one, Moderna, and I go home, get real sleepy, and I pretty much pass out for a full day.
Fair enough.
So then I wake up, and I'm feeling really weak. I'm really tired. My lymph nodes are swollen and sore. My arm feels like it's been broken. It hurts so much. And my arm gets all red and swells up. And this went on for about a week.
Oh, wow.
It reduced down, but it was a full week. I was pretty much flat on my back and pretty useless that entire week.
Okay. And how do you feel now?
Now I feel pretty good. Other than the anxiety of it just looks like the world is trying to go back to the same crappiness that it was before the pandemic started. Like we didn't learn anything, and it's just
Yeah, it's interesting because, in that time I took a 2-week vacation and, we took masks with us because we're like, oh, I don't know. I will respect anyone that says we want your mask on. Okay, that's not a problem for me. I'm already fully vaccinated. I have my thing in my wallet if you need it. But if you have that, I'll respect your wishes. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. So, but for the most part, we didn't wear masks. And it was kind of weird, but then it was kind of fun. It's like, hey, we don't have to worry about it, And it was like, this is actually not too bad. Now, obviously, my wife and I are fully vaccinated and have been for a few weeks now. So we're good, like good. Like everything, if we got it, it would be very mild, if anything at all. So, but yeah, I am seeing some of the pre-COVID era. Well, let's just go back to normal and pay people badly. It's like, no.
yeah, going back to the same crap. I mean, I'm still wearing my mask even though I'm fully vaccinated, because we're not near 70% yet, and there's the Delta variant, which has turned out to be the vaccine is not effective against at all, pretty much.
I've heard different. I've heard that it's actually really good. The vaccines are really, really good, like maybe 70-80% instead of 95%,
Yeah,
So,
but the bottom line is we're not at herd immunity yet. And if anybody's going to catch it, is going to be me. So I'm just going to be still treat the floor like it's lava and keep going until we reach herd immunity. Because technically, I'm not even supposed to get vaccines because I always have adverse reactions. But because I happen to live in ground zero of anti-vaxxers, pretty much, I'm forced to have to get vaccines because there's otherwise I don't have a shot because there's never herd immunity.
herd immunity is like 80%, right?
Technically 70, but some guys hope to get 75. But these days they're happy if they can get 70. I mean, Oregon's doing the same thing as a lot of other states. You know, lotteries to get people to get vaccinated.
I like the idea, but I also kind of think instead of like 1 in a million chance or whatever, how about you just give everyone $100, and then they have you pick a ball or something, and then the ball has a number on it, and if it's this number, you get 100. If it's this number, you get 1,000, and if it's this number, you get 1 million or something. That way, okay, everybody wins, and there's a benefit to everybody, not just people that. And $100 is something.
Yeah, and it's an amount that would go pretty much immediately into the community.
Yeah, absolutely. People would spend that immediately. Day of, they get it. They'll go.
Yeah, they might go to the movies. They like going, hey, I haven't been to the movies in over a year.
They might go.
They might go, hey, I'll go to my favorite restaurant if they're still in business. It'd be a shot in the arm. Okay, that's not the best of words, but it would literally be that into the local economy because people would go out and spend that. Or they might offer it to their. I mean, the moratorium on rent is ending, and not everybody has work.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to put up with, because there's a few places here locally, they're struggling with staff, but hey, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for them. That they pay slave wages, so what do they expect? People have decided they don't. Some things have changed a little bit, I guess. People aren't so desperate to work these crappy, low wage, high stress fast food jobs.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more people, a lot more businesses, at least my theory and my hope and I want. I don't know if it's 100% real, but I think if you call in sick, they're not going to harass you.
Yeah.
Which in America, that was a big deal, where you basically had to get a good excuse, and in Europe, they don't care. You're sick, don't come to work. And now, I'm guessing, feeling that there's a lot more wiggle room there, because you could go work and get the rest of any other unvaccinated people sick. And,
Yeah.
so it's right now it's going to be really hard to get the rest of the population. I think Biden said they got to 300 million, and that's a really great number, but I think the last bit of it is going to be really hard. I think most of those people are not going to want to get it, and basically the most people that get COVID right now, like 90%, are the ones that don't have vaccines. So
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm actually not going out as much as I was going out. Mainly, it's because the last few times I've been out, I've witnessed fights. People not wanting to wear their masks and getting really violent.
Let's go back to me for a second. So a few weeks after I got my second, I got sick, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And I went to a doctor, a virtual visit, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just probably a virus, not COVID related, and you just need to be cool, and it'll go away in a week or two." And I was like, "Okay." And a week later, I'm still coughing up a storm, still feel crappy, and I go to another doctor, and they're like, "Okay, we should do a COVID test just to be sure, and if I think you might just have an upper respiratory infection anyway, so I'm going to prescribe you antibiotics." And I started taking them, and I did it. They actually told me to do a COVID test, and I took it, and they actually gave me the results in like an hour, and they're like negative, and I started taking the medication and started feeling better. So you can still get infected of other things, and that cough is basically gone. Now I might still have it here and there, but I still have a little bit of the medication, the nasal spray to do, which I haven't done as well as I used to, but it's basically gone. You know how that nasal spray, get in. I think it's more allergic than anything else, and sometimes allergies can irritate the lungs, and that could, give you an infection. If it's, make things easier for an infection. So, yeah, it was just kind of annoying, but I'm better now, and I feel fine now. And like I said, I respect any businesses wishes. I have my mask ready to go, and I'm able to go to the store without them, and my wife is able to work without them, and I don't really want to go back physically to work, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole thing about, community, and I think a lot of this has to do with businesses paying rent, and, why the hell are they going to pay rent for a big, building if no one's going to be working there physically,
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
People discovered they'd rather work at home. They don't want to commute. They don't want to spend the money that commuting inherently, because they can't cook their own breakfast. They don't want to get up early enough to fix their own breakfast, clean up, then go to work. But if they're going to work at home, they would do it because it makes sense.
Yeah, and for me, I have an hour commute both ways at the least, maybe an hour and a half, and I don't miss that at all.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was I have to wake up almost an hour and a half to get enough time to get me dressed and to feed the cats and then get going. And, by the time I get to work, I'm tired. And then by the time I leave work, I'm tired. And then I still have to drive another hour. By the time I get home after work, I'm really tired. And I don't want to do any other chores. I don't want to do anything else. And that just burns me out further. And it's like, hell no, I don't want to go back to that. Why would I want to go back to that? And people are like, oh, well, don't you miss your coworkers? Yeah, give them a call. I don't care. I guess some people are really physical. Oh, I want to see you in person, give you hugs. And it's like, for me, it's like, I don't care. So.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook.
Yeah.
You can be Facebook friends. It's just think of the hundreds of dollars you save on gas a week. Well, a month at least.
Yeah, it is like, I don't have to get gas every week. I could get gas every month or so. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you just think of how much and I mean, LA became almost 100% smog free. They had skies. They hadn't been that clean since the 60s.
Yeah. So even though you had a hard time, would you still recommend getting it to other people?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to have a rough ride. I always do. I mean, that's kind of the when you have autoimmune stuff, you're going to have an adverse reaction. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be super bad. I mean, as uncomfortable as I was, I mean, I knew I didn't need to go to the hospital or anything.
Okay.
It was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I was just tired for me. So, some people get worse, some people get okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it also kind of goes with getting older too. It's just kind of the way the ball bounces.
You never know with COVID how bad it hits you. You don't know if it just
and I know as bad as me getting it, it was still light years better than getting COVID.
Yeah. So I guess it's going to be it for this podcast. Thank you for listening. Please get vaccinated. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.